Childhood and Quiet Wounds. Trisha was born in a remote rural area of East Texas, where cotton fields stretched to the horizon and red dirt roads wound through endless pine forests. Summer mornings, cicadas buzz everywhere, mingling with the leisurely clop of horseshoes on the village road. For a child like Trisha, nature was a refuge, a safe place to temporarily forget the chaos in the ramshackle little house she called home. "Where are you off to again, Trisha?" Her mother's voice rose, a bit sharp, from the shabby kitchen. Trisha did not answer. She only slipped on her worn shoes quickly and ran out to the backyard, where the small brown horse was waiting. The horse's name was Daisy, the only close friend Trisha had throughout her childhood years. Sitting on Daisy's back, Trisha felt as if she escaped a world full of shouting, her mother's unexplained fits of anger, and the loneliness of a child with no siblings. At school, Trisha excelled and was praised by her teachers, but whenever she returned home, she withdrew into silence. Her mother suffered from mental illness, at times gentle like an ordinary mother, but most of the time she was immersed in sudden bouts of anger. The scoldings, the unexpected slaps, the times the belt came down, all etched deeply into Trisha's memory. One evening, when Trisha was only 8, she hid in the corner of the room, clutching an old teddy bear. Her mother was furious, banging the bedroom door. "You're just a burden. Without you, I would have lived better." Tears wet the teddy bear, but Trisha dared not cry out loud. In that moment, she wished for an arm to hold her and say, "You still deserve to be loved." The only person who brought Trisha some warmth was her grandmother. Every weekend she would drop by, bringing fragrant pastries and the scent of jasmine drifting from her scarf. She always rubbed Trisha's head and whispered, "Granddaughter, you are very strong. Don't let cruel words make you think you're worthless. You were born to shine." Those words sustained Trisha through the dark years of her childhood. As she grew older, Trisha gradually found comfort in books. She devoured everything she could find in the school library: novels, poetry, philosophy. For Trisha, the pages were doors to another world, one with love, freedom, and hope. "I want to get out of this place." Many nights, Trisha whispered to herself in the dark. She understood that the only way out of poverty, violence, and loneliness was education. Therefore, Trisha threw herself into studying as if it were the only lifeline. In high school, she diligently entered essay contests. Night after night, the oil lamp in her small room stayed lit until late. Finally, those efforts earned her more than $20,000 in scholarships, enough money for her to set foot on a university campus. The day she received the acceptance letter, Trisha cried right in front of the old mailbox about to fall apart. She hugged the envelope tightly and whispered, "I will get out of here. I will start a new life." Trisha attended the University of Texas, a vibrant environment full of temptations. At first, she felt like she was living a dream: spacious dorms, cheerful friends, lively parties. But that glamour could not fill the emptiness inside. After a broken relationship, Trisha fell into depression. She turned to alcohol and drugs as a way to forget. Her academic performance declined, and her faith wavered. Many nights, Trisha sat alone on the dorm balcony, looking up at the starry sky, and wondered, "Do I really exist? If I die, what's left?" As an agnostic, Trisha did not believe in God, nor did she believe in an afterlife. She only felt terrified at the thought, "One day, I will disappear, forever." Sudden panic attacks struck, making her suffocate. The psychologist advised her to run, to return to the sport she once loved in high school. Trisha followed the advice. She began training every day, sometimes running 9 to 10 miles. Sweat soaked her shirt, her heart raced, but at least in those moments, she felt alive. The night before the 10K race in Austin, Trisha had a strange dream. In the dream, she saw herself standing in the middle of a pitch-black road. In the distance, a blinding light was approaching. A voice rang out, deep and distant. "The road ahead is not what you think. Be prepared." Trisha jerked awake, her heart pounding. She sat stunned for hours, not understanding why she felt such unease. The next morning, she still decided to go to classes as usual, But because she was tired, Trisha skipped her usual cup of coffee, something she had never done before. She had no idea that that small decision would lead to the fateful moment that changed her whole life. That morning, the Austin sky was washed in a pale gray, clouds stretched like a harbinger of a gloomy day. Trisha drove her old Honda, a tote bag and some documents on the passenger seat. The night before, she had been sleepless, nightmares leaving her mind exhausted. In her hurry, Trisha skipped her usual cup of coffee, a habit she had never changed until now. Just one day, she told herself, then pressed the gas harder. The road into downtown began to fill with cars. The traffic light ahead turned yellow. Trisha hesitated for a moment but decided to go on. Immediately after, just as she passed the intersection, another car came rushing from the right, so fast her eyes could not catch it in time. Crash! The sound of metal colliding thundered, glass shattered into pieces. Trisha's whole world spun. The seatbelt tightened around her. Her chest felt as if it were crushed to pieces. Her head struck the windshield hard. In that brief instant, she felt as though her body was torn in two. Everything went black. Trisha woke to the acrid smell of deployed airbags. Her body was slumped to one side, her arm trembling but unable to move. Blood from her forehead blurred her vision. She tried to reach for her wallet and papers, but her whole body was numb. "God, please help me," she whispered in despair. A panicked woman ran over, opened the car door, and held Trisha's hand. "Girl, don't worry, I'm a nurse. Hold my hand. The ambulance will be here soon." In intense pain, Trisha only felt the warmth from that hand. Tears flowed, not from physical pain, but from the feeling that someone was beside her, not abandoning her. The wail of the ambulance siren ripped through the air. Arms lifted her onto a stretcher. Everything swayed. Red lights flashed, and nurses and doctors shouted, "Multiple fractures, severe internal injuries. Prepare for immediate transfer to the OR." Trisha was placed on a cold table. Surgical lights blazed on the ceiling. Her breathing was rapid, each heartbeat threatening to explode. A female doctor approached and took Trisha's hand. "I'm going to operate on you, but before that, I have to rest for a few hours. Be patient. You'll be okay." If I can't walk, I will end my life," Trisha choked out. The doctor was silent for a moment, then nodded. "You will walk again, I promise." Those words were a fragile rope that clung to her will to live. But then, as the anesthesia began to take effect, Trisha faintly heard, "Risk of death, 70%. Before she could panic, darkness swallowed everything. Suddenly, Trisha felt weightless. When she opened her eyes, she was astonished to find herself hovering above, looking down at the operating table. Her immobile body lay there, surrounded by hurried doctors. My God, I'm still alive. But that body clearly no longer moved. Trisha saw herself, pale, blood-stained. Instead of panic, a strange feeling swept over her. Absolute peace. No more pain, no more fear. She realized she could see in 360 degrees at once. The gray hair of a nurse, the trembling hand of a surgeon, even Elvis music playing from a small radio in the corner of the room. Just then, entities of light appeared behind the doctors. They were tall, about 3 meters, radiating a gentle yet powerful halo. A voice spoke inside her mind, not through her ears. "Do not be afraid. We are here to help you. You will walk again, even run." Trisha wept aloud, though the tears were no longer ordinary drops, but a warm stream of energy. "Who are you?" "Call us messengers. Humans call us angels." One of them smiled, reached out, and from that hand, a shaft of white light shot forth, passing through the surgeon's body and shining straight into Trisha's spine. The entire room blazed for a moment. "Look, everything will be okay." The beep, beep, beep of the monitor suddenly elongated into a straight line. The screen displayed a flat line. "Cardiac arrest. Prepare to defibrillate," the doctor shouted. Trisha startled. "Am I dead?" But instead of fear, she found herself drifting through the wall, gentle as a breeze. Out of the OR, she saw her stepfather buying candy from a vending machine. The sight made her laugh. He's always on a diet, yet he sneaks candy. A serene smile spread across Trisha's soul. Ahead, the dark city of Austin opened up, but above, the starry sky shone more brilliantly than she had ever seen. Trisha knew she was embarking on a journey with no return. Journey on the other side of death. Trisha hovered in the air, the city of Austin below growing faint, leaving only the vast stars spread like a sparkling carpet. She felt absolute freedom. No weight, no bindings, only lightness and peace. A gentle beam of light embraced her, like the arms of a kind mother she had never had in her life. "This is a starry heaven?" Trisha whispered. Before her, a lush green field opened. The grass was as soft as silk. Wildflowers bloomed brilliantly. The sky so blue it seemed to melt into one's heart. And there, a familiar figure was walking closer. "Grandpa!" Trisha exclaimed, tears welling. Indeed. Her grandfather, who had died of cancer when she was only 10, now appeared, but not with the old sickly look. Before her stood a vigorous, healthy man, his eyes kindly bright, his smile radiant. "My little granddaughter, I have been waiting for you." Trisha rushed forward and hugged him tightly. Strangely, the embrace was not a physical impact, but a melding of souls. She felt unconditional, pure love, making her heart feel as if it would burst. "I miss you so much. I'm frightened. I'm lost. In the mortal world, I never felt safe anywhere." He gently stroked her hair, his voice deep and warm like a lullaby. "There is no pain here, no fear. You have passed through many darknesses, but they were only a veil. Actually, you were never alone." Trisha choked up. "If I could, I would stay here forever." He smiled kindly. "You still have a long journey, but first, see the miracle I want to show you." He reached out, and immediately, Trisha found herself sitting on the bed of the old pickup truck he used to drive. The red dirt road stretched between fields. A cool breeze brushed her hair. That scene was the childhood memory she had loved most. She sobbed uncontrollably. "You knew that this memory is where I felt happiest." He nodded, his eyes shining with pride. "You have always been loved, Trisha. Love has never left you." After a moment, her grandfather gently placed his hand on her shoulder. "Would you like to go further? There is something even greater waiting." Trisha nodded. Immediately, her body of light left the truck and soared upward. Ahead, a vast brightness appeared, dazzling yet not painful to the eyes. The light seemed to contain the whole universe, yet was intimate and warm like an embrace. "That is him." His voice echoed and then faded. Trisha trembled. She sensed a presence beyond words. It was not human, not a form, but the infinite source of light. A stream of energy entered her mind directly. A gentle but powerful voice sounded. "You are my child. You have never been abandoned. Love is everything. And that is the only thing you take with you when you leave the world." Trisha burst into tears. "I have lived selfishly. I have scorned others, closed my heart out of fear. Am I worthy of love?" The source of light enveloped her, without reproach, only unconditional love. "You have stumbled, but that taught you how to love. You do not need to be perfect to be loved by me." Within that light, images flooded in. Her childhood playing by the pond, running with Daisy. The times she sat and cried silently after being beaten by her mother. Even the moments she looked down on friends who didn't go to college, shutting her heart to servers. Trisha saw each face clearly. Especially, there was an elderly couple she had worked with at the diner. They quietly prayed for her when they saw her depressed. Seeing that, Trisha cried out, "My God, they loved me, while I paid them no mind." The source of light whispered, "You can do better. Every person you meet has their own beauty. Look into their hearts." Trisha bowed her head, her heart feeling cleansed. The light continued to impart messages into her as if carving them into her soul. Love like a child, innocent and without calculation. Return to nature, where you find healing. Do not be afraid. Fear is only the shadow that blocks the light. When you leave, Only love goes with you. Not fame, not money. Trisha trembled, nodding, tears falling continuously. I understand. Love is the only thing that remains. Suddenly, a powerful wave of energy surrounded her, the source's voice becoming solemn. You will return. Your mission is not finished. You will be a teacher. Trisha panicked. No, I don't want to go back. There is too much pain there. I want to stay here, where love never fades. You will teach. You will bring love to others. That is why you were born. Trisha shook her head, choking. But I want to be a lawyer. I want to make money, to travel. I don't want a hard life anymore. The source of light seemed to smile in silence. A powerful force swept Trisha up, transforming her into a sphere of energy. When you return, you will understand. In the last moment, Trisha screamed, Please don't. I want to stay. I want to remain with this love. But everything went out in an instant. A dark tunnel stretched, and she was flung back toward the motionless body lying in the recovery room. Return and the mission of love. The first sound Trisha heard when she woke was the steady beep-beep of the heart monitor. Her eyelids were heavy, her body aching as if crushed to pieces. She tried to open her eyes and saw blinding white lights and a nurse's face leaning close. What is your name? Trisha parted her lips, but the words came from somewhere distant. Her name is Trisha. The nurse frowned. No, honey, what is your name? Trisha suddenly realized she had just spoken about herself as if talking about someone else. Her heart ached. She had returned, but she was no longer the same person she had been. The first days in the ICU were a series of relentless pains. The surgical wounds throbbed, broken bones made each breath feel like a knife. But what irritated Trisha most was the feeling of being trapped in this frail body. After tasting absolute freedom on the other side of death, her body now became a cage imprisoning her soul. Late at night, when the nurse left, Trisha whispered through tears, Why make me come back? I was so much happier there. But deep down, she remembered the source of light's words. You will be a teacher. Fearing that painkillers and time would make her forget, Trisha asked her grandmother to bring her a small notebook. With trembling hands, she wrote everything down. The light, the angels, Grandpa, the messages about love. If I forget, at least this notebook will remind me, she whispered to her grandmother. Her grandmother held her hand, eyes kind. Do not worry. What comes from God will never be lost. In contrast, Trisha's mother was cold. One afternoon, when Trisha told her she had seen the light, her mother scowled. Don't talk nonsense. You only had hallucinations from the anesthesia. But Mom, I really saw Grandpa. I know God is real. I know love still exists. Shut up. What do you know about God? Her mother snapped, eyes full of suspicion and bitterness. Trisha fell silent. Tears streamed down. She could not understand why the most beautiful thing in her life was denied by her own flesh and blood. Only her grandmother gently embraced her and whispered, Let her tell it. She has passed through death. Her words are worth listening to. The recovery journey lasted nearly 9 months. Trisha had to wear a back brace and practice walking one small step at a time. Every morning when she tried to stand, her spine burned as if pierced by fire. Once she collapsed to the floor and burst into tears. I can't do it. I can't walk anymore. Her grandmother held her, eyes also teary. Dear, remember what they said. You will walk. You will run. Don't give up. In the afternoons, Trisha practiced walking in the yard. Neighbors, mostly elderly, sat drinking coffee and always encouraged her. Keep going, girl. Today you walked farther. We believe you will succeed. Once, when Trisha reached the end of the street after many months, the whole group of neighbors applauded and cheered. Trisha stood in the middle of the road, tears streaming. She realized that love does not only come from heaven, but also from the simple people around her. Before, Trisha shut herself off, viewing life with caution. But after the experience, she saw others differently. In her eyes, everyone had a light, albeit dim. She saw the fear in their eyes, the hidden wounds, and she wanted to embrace and heal them with love. Once, at the supermarket, Trisha smiled and greeted the cashier. The young woman froze, then unexpectedly welled up. "Thank you. Today I really needed a smile." Trisha walked out, her heart warm. She understood that small things could also save a soul. After recovering, Trisha decided not to pursue law as planned. Instead, she studied for a teaching certificate and began teaching. On her first day in the classroom, looking at the bewildered young faces, she trembled. "To be honest, I never wanted to be a teacher. But then I died, and God told me I had to stand here with you." The class fell silent. Then a timid hand rose. "Miss, did you really die?" Trisha smiled and nodded, and she told them. When the story ended, many students had tears in their eyes. One child quietly said, "Miss, I believe. I once thought I wasn't worth living, but now I understand. Love always exists." Trisha stepped down and hugged that student tightly. In that moment, she knew her mission was coming true. Years passed, and Trisha continued to tell that story to anyone who would listen. Cancer patients, the dying, lost students. Each time she told it, her eyes welled, but her heart overflowed with peace. One afternoon, while watching the Texas sunset blaze red, Trisha whispered to herself, and to the source of light beyond, "I understand now. The only thing I take with me after death is love, and I will spend my life giving it to the world." The last sunlight embraced her, like the old arms that once held her in the realm of light. If this story touched your heart, please leave a comment sharing your feelings or experiences about life and death. Don't forget to follow the channel to see more near-death experience stories, miraculous journeys that help us cherish life more.